In 1924, the 29th year of Japanese colonial rule, a 20-man expedition organized by the privately held Karenko Lumber Company conducted a week-long survey of the forests in the mountains west of Lingtianshan. They found that vast cypress forests carpeted the Muguashan area. The August 15th edition of the Taiwan Nichi Shinpo announced, recently discovered dense cypress forests in the East Coast central mountain areas of Lingtianshan and Muguashan are a resource that may be described without exaggeration as rich beyond measure. The company began permitting procedures in 1931 and started commercial logging operations in Muguashan Logging District in 1934. Logging would continue for the next half-century and create the foundation of today's Halun. Modern Hualien City's bustling central district is home to the former headquarters of the Japanese-era Karenko Lumber Company. From this prime location in eastern Taiwan's largest city, Karenko Lumber used the railway to send a steady stream of logs to buyers island-wide and ocean steamers to ship top-grade logs to clients in Tokyo and Osaka. In its heyday, the Karenko Lumber Company was Taiwan's largest private lumber firm. During the years of peak production, logging operations centered on Muguashan, just west of modern-day Liyutan, and the Zhinan Forest Recreation Area.
Our main objective today is to visit the old logging cableway stations. Former Zhinan Dispatch Station is today's Zhinan Forest Recreation Area. We'll then proceed to cableway station number 3, and then move onward to Dajing Cableway. A total of 3 cableways once ran here. This was likely the dispatch point for cableway number 1. Looking out this way, the Zhinan Cableway Arch is easily visible. From this spot, you get a clear view, including Liyutan. We can see then that each successive cableway arch was set on a relatively high location to facilitate timber transport operations.
During the Japanese colonial period, Taiwan's forests, including the timber-rich areas of Alishan, Baxianshan, and Taipingshan, were largely under government control. Thus, the Karenko Lumber Company was one of a small number of private Taiwan lumber operators. The Karenko Lumber Company used a 3-stage suspended cableway and rail network at the new Muguashan Logging District to create an efficient system for transporting logs from forests located at 2,000 meters above sea level down to storage yards located at 200 meters above sea level. The logs could then be loaded onto trains for transport to Hualien and beyond. Spiraling demand for Taiwan cypress in both Taiwan and the Japanese home islands created a lumber market boom that needed large numbers of new forestry workers.
After deciding the direction a tree should fall, 2 face cuts are made into the tree. Wind direction and branch weight distribution are, of course, important safety factors as well.
Timber! Timber!
Chainsaws weren't available to loggers during Japanese colonial times. 7 to 8 loggers worked in each logging zone because hand sawing was painfully slow. We were always racing to keep up with the skidders. Of those 7 or 8, many would be killed on the job, crushed in logging accidents. Lots of people lost their lives. I'm the only one of the loggers I know of who's lived this long. Everyone else is dead. Dangerous, really dangerous, but it paid better than most jobs.
The Republic of China took control of Taiwan in 1945 following Japan's defeat in World War II. At that time, the Taiwan provincial government took over most of Taiwan's forestry resources. However, in view of Hualien County's poor finances and myriad modernization needs, the Hualien County government was authorized to handle the work of continued logging in the Muguashan logging district. This was the district's main transport line. It followed the Zhiyagan Mountains westward for a total length of 40 kilometers, with stops at Sangongli, Zhoumugua, Ximugua, Dabangshan, and Halun.
Xinmugua is at 4.9 kilometers. We still have to make it to 4.9 kilometers. The station sign is still here.
After taking over here, the Hualien County government simply used the railway line and facilities of the Korenko Lumber Company and continued logging operations as usual. Initially, everything worked as before, but time wore on the equipment and infrastructure, and funding for maintenance was inadequate. Production became increasingly sporadic, and management came under increasing pressure. On its part, the Taiwan provincial government had always had its eye on the district, hoping to bring all forestry operations under one roof.
Felled timber is transported down the mountain with the help of skidder operators and rail workers. It is a massive and incredible undertaking. I was a seasoned skidder operator. We used steel cables. You always had to be careful moving logs by cable. We had logs slip and fall, and then bounce back and slam into people. Skidding is a hazardous job. It is at any time, when it's raining, sleet, or snowing. Doesn't matter, we go up into the trees. My hands are numb from the cold, but we work anyway.
In July 1958, Typhoon Winnie spent its furious energies on Hualien County and devastated the Muguashan logging district. Unable to effect repairs, the Hualien County government in October of that year handed operations over to the provincial government. After repairs, the district reopened in 1960 as Halun Station under the Mugua Forest District Office.
Okay, we finally got a look at Dakuaishan. That's where we should be crossing over 3 days from now, before descending to Halun Station, where we'll be doing our primary survey work.
Halun Station was the upland administrative center during the Japanese colonial period. For 24 years, from the Korenko Lumber Company to Hualien County government administration, Halun's forests, with their large store of high-quality, high-value cypress, accounted for an increasing share of Taiwan's total timber output.
Once felled giant timbers are set onto the rail cars. The next job is to remove unwanted branches before nailing down spikes. Aside from making sure logs won't move, workers must ensure everything is well balanced. I was a rail engineer on Halun Station. I mostly transported wood. Our engines almost always pulled a team of 10 cars. We went slowly, were always on alert. Yes, there were derailings. Logs that were off-center would derail trains. Breakdowns would sometimes pull us off the tracks. Sometimes even the wheels would break in two. Lots of things.
Halun Station sits on the northern face of Dakuaishan at 2,000 meters above sea level. When the Forestry Bureau took over Halun, it increased staff and expanded the organization. New equipment from the U.S. and Europe was installed, and chainsaws replaced handsaws and axes. This drove production levels to new heights. With a government heavily reliant on agriculture and forestry to subsidize the manufacturing and commerce sectors, Halun's production was pushed to 32,500 cubic meters per year. This sparked a new lumber boom in Hualien. Increased production led to the hiring of over 500 new employees to work and live in the mountains. Halun Station became a viable, substantial community of over 40 buildings that were arrayed along the ridgeline. These included administrative offices, a lumber mill, firehouse, dormitories, and other community structures. The forestry industry made Halun from 1960 to 1980 a key player in the Taiwan miracle. However, the dangers of forestry work gave Halun a long track record of accidents and mishaps. In April 1966, a brake failure on the #1 cableway sent workers and logs careening downhill, killing 17 and seriously injuring 2. It was Taiwan's deadliest forestry industry accident. The mountains exacted a heavy human toll for the sake of national economic growth. Humankind's use of forest resources continue to present myriad risks, the costs of which are as yet unknown. Fortunately, Taiwan's days of logging are over. As Halun Station was making plans to extend logging in forests along the #4 and #5 cableways, in 1975, Taiwan's Executive Yuan passed the 3 principles for the domestic forestry industry. The declaration effectively halted timber production. The Taiwan forestry reform proposal that followed mandated that Taiwan's forest resources be used in diverse and sustainable ways. Logging at Halun Station ended on June 1, 1987. In 1989, the Mugwa Forest District Office merged with the Yuli Office and became the Hualien Forest District Office. Operations at Nanhua Station ended, and Halun Station was abandoned to the surrounding forests. Zhenan Station was rededicated as the Zhenan Forest Recreation Area, after which the Zhenan Nature Center was established. While Taiwan's logging and lumber days are in the past, one important part continues today: reforestation. Over 2,500 hectares have been reforested in the Halun Station district.
Logged-out areas are laid bare to the elements. These barren areas need to be reforested quickly. In our reforestation work, we talk in terms of lumber volume and logging numbers. We don't think in terms of area. Actually, when we go up, then we know. Anyway, reforestation has always followed logging. Look up into the hillside here. The terraces may remind one of rice paddies. This is a former seedling nursery. We see among these trees here some Taiwan Miniki cypress seedlings that were just left to grow into mature trees. Quite a beautiful sight.
Halun is a microcosm of Taiwan's forestry industry. We pay our respects to those who once worked here and thank the forests for their contribution to Taiwan's modern development. Today, we look to our forests as places of conservation, education, and respect for life. It is a new age for forestry, but are we doing what is best? To answer this question, more time is needed to learn, consider, and evaluate. We all look back in fond remembrance of our ancestors and our brethren for their contribution and sacrifice for us. We remain grateful always and seek success in our own endeavors.